Hi, I'm John, founder of Idealstack. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to install WordPress on Idealstack using the WP-CLI command line, which is often a quicker way to do it, and also it has the benefit that you can script it, which means you can make your own scripts to install WordPress and things like that. So here we go. Firstly, you need to just click on the site that you've created already in Idealstack, I assume. If we take a look at the Connect tab, we'll see all the details we need to actually be able to do things with this site. So here's the SFTP details. If you click this link, that will open an SFTP client, like WinSCP in this case. Obviously, updates to apply, go away. These are details to connect via SSH on the terminal in order to get terminal access to this site. Here's details to connect to the database, and here's details to connect to the DNS server. So what we're going to do now is quickly create a WordPress site on this server. So there's documentation on the Idealstack site under tips and tricks on how to set up WordPress. The first step is to create a site, which we've already done. The next step is to create a database. So we'll quickly do that. To do that, click on Database Manager. And within here, we can create a database. We'll call it Demo WordPress. And we can also create a user to access that database. We'll call that Demo WordPress as well. We should give it a hard to guess password. I like to use this website to generate these passwords. So we'll take that as the password. And you need to check all privileges in order to allow access to the database. We're going to save that password and username in a text editor so that we can access them later on. Now if we get out of the database management system and come back to Idealstack, the next step, if you look at the documentation, is to connect to SSH. So that's quite easy. We paste this command. This will work on any Unix-like system, including Cygwin on Windows, which is what I'm using. Alternatively, you can use the details here to connect via any other SSH client. So this is the actual container that runs this site. So within this, you can see there's a directory, public HTML, and if we look under there, there's nothing at the moment. But we're going to install WordPress here. So the next step, if we follow the instructions, is to install the WordPress command line client, which is as simple as pasting these commands. It's done. Now we're going to download WordPress. Then we'll use these commands to actually create a WordPress config for this site. So we'll paste this into a text editor, go through line by line the changes we need to make to it. So firstly, this command here, DB host is always database, but the DB name is demo WordPress. The DB user was also demo WordPress. The DB pass was this random password here. And it's usually best to quote that because it might contain characters that Bash doesn't like. So we need to run this command. Which generates a random prefix for the tables, which is usually good security practice on WordPress. And then we can run this command to create a config file, which has now been created. And then this command here to install WordPress. So firstly we need the URL. Now, because I haven't set up DNS, I'm just going to use the test domain that is always created for a site within Idealstack. So that is demo dot all of this. So we'll add that. Get rid of the double dots. We will call the title example is fine. The admin user can be supervisor, that's fine. Strong password here is not a strong password, so let's create a new strong password using the same tool. Again, we'll quote that, and the admin email, we'll use an email at our domain. So if we run this, now we can access the site on this domain. And here you go, fresh new WordPress site. So there's a number of other options for deploying your site. We've chosen the command line because that's quick and easy, but another option is SFTP. That's probably the most likely thing most people would use, where you just push the files via SFTP. You can also SSH to the server and run a git pull of your live code if that's how you do things. And there's also tools like PHP Deployer that work with Idealstack that will allow you to do continuous delivery. The point of Idealstack really is to support most of these common ways of being able to work with a PHP site so that you don't need to know the complexities of AWS and all the different ways that things could work on the AWS platform. So that's how easy it is to deploy a site to Idealstack. It didn't take long and it's very simple.